ABC. It used to be a really solid rogue option a while back, piloted by people like Calvin Tahan, really good solid ABC players. But these days it's sort of fallen out of favor. I don't care though, this is one of my favorite decks of all time. I got my first undefeated streak at locals with this deck. Consider this deck like my baby steps in a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! It was the first really good competitive deck I had ever built, and it performed really solidly. After a bit of testing, I really liked it, and I played it for a long time. Just recently, I rebuilt this deck for just nostalgic purposes, and it's really similar to the one I had done well with. So, I'm going to give you guys my deck profile because I love the deck a lot. Is it relevant? Nah, fam. But I don't care, fight me. I love this deck to death. So, with that out of the way, here's my ABC deck profile, and I hope you guys enjoy. So let me start off right out the bat by saying this isn't the most competitive build. If you want a competitive version of ABC, I highly suggest some sort of danger variant, but like I said earlier, I literally just rebuilt this for nostalgic purposes, and this is the build that I enjoy playing the most. So yeah, fight me. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the profile. For starters, we have double copies of ASL Core. For those of you who don't know, each of the Union monsters, you can either target a light machine monster you control and equip them to it, or unequip them and special them. And then the monsters are equipped to gain effects. Like this one makes the monster it's equipped to unaffected by monster effects, which is really strong. And then if it's sent from field to grave, it adds a Union monster from deck to hand, or from grave to hand. So you only play 2 because they can just recycle each other if the game gets grindy. And I found that 2's a good number. 3 copies of B Buster Drake. This one, the monster that's equipped to becomes unaffected by spells. So against your Sky Striker matchup, this is really strong. And then if this is sent from field to grave, it adds a Union monster from deck to hand. So this gets access to all your pieces. 3 copies of Sea Crush Wyvern. The monster that this is equipped to is unaffected by traps. So against any stunny trap decks, really strong. And then if it's sent from field to grave, specials a Union monster from your hand. So gets your pieces onto the board, make link plays, and then make Buster. 1 copy of Tortune Gear. The monster that this is equipped with becomes a tuner and gains 500 attack and defense. And then the other Union monster shtick. So this helps make synchro plays. This is an oddity because not a lot of decks play this, but I really like it. It's really cool. And then for some starters, we have triple copies of Gold Gadget. On summon, it specials a level 4 machine from hand. And then if it's disturbed by battle or card effect, specials a level 4 Gadget monster from deck. You can only use one effect per turn and one set turn, so you have to make a choice, but it's whatever. If they like Impermanence this or Veiler this isn't the worst thing to sit on, because you can just float into Silver Gadget, which does the same thing as Gold Gadget, and then float straight back into Gold Gadget. So it's really solid. Sometimes a 3 and 3 gets a little bricky, but I'd rather see more starters than less starters, so those are cool. Triple copies of Galaxy Soldier. This is really cool because it synergizes with the deck really nicely. On summon, it adds a Galaxy monster from deck to hand, and you can add itself. So you're just going to be adding another copy of Galaxy Soldier. And then you special summon one of this by pitching a light monster from hand to grave. So you can just pitch your pieces and then summon this, and then you can make Infinity, make Buster, do all that really cool stuff. And this is really cool, you know? It helps make Link plays in Cyber Dragon Infinity. And I like both of those, so 3 copies. And then for the hand traps, because we do play those, I've got triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, along with triple copies of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. So Ash is pretty standard, you know, negates searches, summons from deck, those sorts of things. Ghost Bell is kind of an oddity. Not a lot of people are going to be main decking this, but I find in this deck it's absolutely necessary because you hard lose to Called by the Grave. You get to like stop Called by the Grave, and if someone calls your Buster, you're done. You know what I mean? So this stops that. But other than that, this does have a lot of utility. It stops anything that would move cards from the grave to anywhere else. This can stop. So it's like a Necro Valley in a hand trap. Really cool. Stops Called by the Grave. That's the most important thing. On to the spells. We have triple copies of Union Hanger. This field spell is nuts, and if it wasn't for this field spell, ABC would be total garbage. On activation, it adds a Light Machine Union Monster from deck to hand, so you can add any of your pieces. And then, if one is summoned, you can target it and equip a Union Monster with a different name from your deck to it. So, say you summon B, you can target it and equip it with A straight from deck, so that can't be ashed. So that's really cool. If it wasn't for this, like field spell, deck would be total garbage. And then one copy of Gateway to Chaos. This is a brick, and it's only there for set rotation, because we do play the Terraforming the Search Union Hanger since it's so important, and then set rotation. I wouldn't even consider playing this if Terraforming stayed at 2, but since it got limited, it's kind of necessary because you gotta see Union Hanger. It's really important. So, not to mention, if you give somebody the Gateway to Chaos and then they're locked out field spells and field spells are important, then that's a bonus. So, yeah, those two to Search Union Hanger. 2 Transmodify, because it's a neat little starter. Like, since all of your monsters are light machines, you can transmod any of your pieces and then summon Galaxy Soldier from your deck. And then you're gonna get all these triggers. You know, you're gonna get your ABC pieces engraved, their grave effects, and then the Galaxy Soldier is gonna search the other one, and you can use them to chain block whatever's more important. It's a hard once per turn, so I only play 2 of it, but it's still really solid, so I like it. 2 copies of Pot of Desires. I'd bump this up to 3 if I was playing 3A, but I'm not playing 3A, so 2's a solid number. I want to see it sometimes, but not all the time. And that's why you play 2 copies of anything. So, Pot of Desires, banish 10, draw 2. Nothing more to say. Triple copies of Called by the Grave, because even though this deck hard loses to Called by the Grave, you play Called by the Grave. Isn't that ironic? So yeah, stops hand traps, and also stops any pesky grave effects you don't want going off. So, versatility. And then, for the last one-ofs, I have played 1 Foolish Burial, because it literally just lets you dump a piece to grave. 1 Monster Reborn, because it's Monster Reborn, you play it. If you're not, what are you doing? And then 1 Double or Nothing, because I played the Utopia double package in here, alongside Boral Sword. It's actually kind of cute. If you Boral Sword and Double or Nothing, it's really funny. So, yeah, this just helps you OTK. You're playing literally level 4 monsters to the deck, so making a rank 4, not hard at all. So that's why the Utopia double combo is really strong here. Next, I'll offer the extra deck, which is really solid, I think, for this particular build. Triple copies of ABC Dragon Buster. This boss monster is insane. I really love it, and it was like really strong for its time. So, you summon it by banishing A, B, and C from your field or grave, and then as a quick effect, you can discard a card to target a card on the field and banish it. And that kind of quick effect banishing is really strong. And then during your opponent's turn, you can tribute this card to special summon each of your banished pieces, A, B, and C, from your banished pile. So what you would do is you would like banish a card, and then like if this lives till the end phase, tribute it, special summon the pieces, and then use the pieces to do stuff. Or if they try to remove this, you can tribute it to like gain advantage and special summon the pieces. Overall, really strong card. 3,000 attack bodies. It's like really big, really hard to beat over. I really like it. And then for some Link 2s, 1 copy of Platinum Gadget, 1 copy of Cleafort Genius, and then 1 copy of Underclock Taker. I feel like just Link monsters that you can go into is really important. You don't really have to have the ones that like Nightmares. I don't feel are too necessary in here because you're already like discarding for Buster. You don't want to discard for anything else. That's the important part. Platinum Gadget, I really like. It's a newer thing. Came out of Dual Power, I believe. It takes 2 machines. It can't be used for Link material that turns summon, but it doesn't matter. It just specials a level 4 lower machine from hand once per turn. And this is really helpful. In this particular build, this monster turned what used to be 3 card combos into now 2 card combos. Makes it really strong. And it makes making Buster and Infinity much easier. Cleafort Genius is another one. It also just takes 2 machines. It's unaffected by spell trap effects and the activated effects of other Link monsters, which is really relevant. And then you can target a card on each player's field and negate their effects once per turn, so that's cool. But the main thing is if you tag out Buster and summon the pieces underneath it, since monsters are summoned to the zones and points to at the same time, unless you add Galaxy Soldier, because you add a level 5 or higher machine, you add Galaxy Soldier. So it's really strong. And then Underclock Taker, just generic Link 2, something to make, you know. Its effect comes up sometimes, but not often. So those are the Link 2s. For Link 3s, or for the other Link monsters, I only really played 2 more. I played Decode Talker and Borrelsword Dragon. Decode Talker's, it's really cool against like Striker because each of your pieces float, right? A, B, and C all float somehow. So if you make this and make Buster underneath it, banish something, and then tag it out and some of the pieces underneath it, it's like they can't do shit because every time they try to target something, tribute, negate, float, tribute, negate, float, tribute, negate, float some more. So this thing gets really strong. And then Borrelsword Dragon's just there for OTKs. I don't really think it's necessary though. If you're also playing Utopia Double, it was just filler, and I couldn't really think of anything else to play. So he's there as an option. And then for the Xyz, I play 5 of them. I play Cyber Dragon Nova to, of course, make Cyber Dragon Infinity. Infinity being a negate on legs is like really strong. And a cute little interaction you can do with Nova is if they strike Nova's summon, right? Or destroy it before you make Infinity, this floats into a Buster Dragon for free. Because if it's sent to the grave by your opponent's card effect, specials a machine fusion from your extra deck, which Buster Dragon happens to be. So it's really strong. And then Infinity, you know, does Infinity stuff, negates stuff. Negates on legs are really strong. That's why I like it. And then Utopia Double alongside just Vanilla Utopia. It's for the OTK. So for those of you who don't know, you detach material to add double or nothing from deck to hand, and then special this on top of it, and then double its attack, and it's permanent. And then you would attack with this, use its effect to negate the attack, and then activate double or nothing targeting this to double its attack again, so it becomes a 10,000 attack beater. And this can steal games just by itself. If you attack over anything that's 2,000 or less attack, you end the game with this, which is really strong. So yeah, those. And then 1 copy of Bujinte Tsukiyomi. This is probably not the best card anymore. This is only there to reload your hand. Like, you make this and then dump. If you have like a bunch of pieces in your hand, you can just dump them all, draw 2 more cards, and then make Buster. So that's cool. So you just detach, discard your entire hand, draw 2. You can only make it with light monsters, so you'd only really be making this deck in like Bujins and this deck. And then for Synchros, because of the Torque Tune gear, we have 1 Siphon Lord Omega and 1 Trishula Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Back when I played this would become double Omega because I could loop Torque Tune gear to make 2 of these, but it got limited. You can do the same loop and make Trishula, so Trishula is pretty strong, but this could become a Borreload Savage Dragon. I have one, it's just in my Pendulum deck at the moment, so yeah. Trishula is really strong though, banishing stuff. And that is it for my ABC deck profile. Like I said, this deck isn't the most competitive version you could build. I literally just built it for the nostalgia. So let me know if you guys liked it down in the comments. Maybe subscribe if you're feeling, you know, a little bit generous. Feel me. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.